No, I think someone just took it down. Just put it back up and turn it.
Just
Thank you, Bill.
like right, like.
Thank you.
Perfect. Okay.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and we welcome you to the November meeting of the Randolph County Board of Commissioners. We officially call this meeting to order at the designated time and place as advertised, and we have a room full of folks here tonight to participate in our meeting, and we welcome you, and we will take items as they occur on our agenda. You notice there's no sun shining through the windows tonight with daylight savings time, so maybe that'll cool the wind a little bit. And on a personal note, I want to thank you. Some of you were here last month, and I wasn't. Unfortunately, that about 5:30 that Monday morning, 4 weeks ago, I fell on a concrete sidewalk and messed up my face and broke my jaw here in about 3 places. But I've received a lot of comments, emails, texts, phone calls, and I appreciate that so very much. That was the fourth county commissioners meeting that I've had to miss in 43 years. So God's been good, and I'm glad to be here tonight to share this meeting and participate in county business. So with that, again, we welcome you. We're glad to have Chaplain Bill Hatfield from the Randolph County Sheriff's Office to do our invocation. Following the invocation, we will have our Pledge of Allegiance. So will you please remove your hats and stand?
Thank you for the opportunity for me to be able to do this. I really appreciate it, and I'm honored to be here. I want to quote a Bible verse first, and then we'll pray. Matthew 6:33 says, "Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you." Lord God, I thank you with all my heart for who you are. You are the King of Kings. You are the Lord of Lords. Jesus, thank you for salvation. And Lord, that verse came into my heart because I think those of us that claim to be believers, followers of Jesus Christ, need to focus in that our first priority is to represent the kingdom of God. Yes, these fine men and women are here representing the county, Randolph County, but our first priority is the kingdom of God. How are we representing that kingdom? So I pray for each one tonight as decisions are being made, not only tonight, but in the days and months and years to come. And there's a lot of things happening in our community. The focus would be, number one, the kingdom of God. Number two, the people of Randolph County. Help them. Help us to remember that, Father. I pray for tonight. I pray for this meeting, everything that's done here, God, that you would just clear our minds again to make the right decisions, to honor those that need to be honored. Personally, being with the Sheriff's Office, my heart is with Jeff Cook, is we're celebrating his retirement, his many years there with the Sheriff's Office, and for Tammy Hughes, and God, for others that may be honored here tonight. Thank you for them, Lord. Thank you again for this time together. We give you the praise. We give you the honor. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Bill.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. We have some special recognitions tonight, retirements from the Sheriff's Department. So Sheriff Seabolt is here tonight to make the presentations, and we'll call on him.
Okay, thank you, Chairman. We have two recognitions that we're going to not be able to fill for a long time. I can tell you that. First one was Major Jeff Cook. He began his career in law enforcement on June 1st, 1997, under the leadership of Richard Hurley. He was hired as a jailer for the newly built Randolph County Jail while operations were moving from the middle of Ashboro to New Century Drive. Jeff was then transferred to the Warrant Squad in the Civil Division in July of 1998. He worked on the Warrant Squad that year while also attending basic law enforcement training at night at Randolph Community College. He later transferred to the Patrol Division March of 1999 while graduating BLET the same month. He received his loyal canine bloodhound partner, Jed, in 2001, who was donated to the Sheriff's Office by Ally Foundation in Denver, Colorado. He was promoted to rank of lieutenant in September of 2010 while still on patrol and promoted to captain of the division in February of 2021. In April 2025, he was promoted to Major of Operations. In retirement, Jeff plans to spend time with his family, do some hunting, fishing, and work on some personal projects. That's his way of relaxing. Major Jeff Cook is recognized for 28.5 years of faithful service to the citizens of Randolph County, to the Randolph County Sheriff's Office. We express our sincere appreciation for his unwavering commitment and service. Join me as I ask Jeff to come up and receive his clock. One thing about Jeff, when I became sheriff in 2018, I had known him somewhat, but he kind of took me under his wing and showed me how to be a sheriff. And I really appreciate you doing that. We're friends forever. I never thought I would meet some of my closest friends when I reached 60 years old. But I can definitely stand here and say that. Congratulations. You want to say a few words? No. Okay.
Jeff, you've seen about all of it. In your tenure here, I believe this will make you serving 4 sheriffs. That speaks volumes to your loyalty, to your job, and to the citizens of this county. You're to be commended for that. I know you're recovering from a little fall a while back, and we hope that you have plenty of time to recover for that. But we can't thank you enough for your years of service to the Randolph County Sheriff's Department. For all that, you get this little clock. In grateful appreciation to Major Jeff Cook, in recognition of 28 years of service, November the 3rd, 2025, by the Randolph County Board of Commissioners. God bless you. Best to you, buddy. Thank you so much. You go right ahead.
Yeah, Jeff and I have something in common. We both fell off a ladder. So, thank you, Jeff. The next person I would like to commemorate for retiring is Tammy Hughes. She's a neighbor of mine, and I got to know her when I was a trooper, and she was a volunteer fireman, and also working at the sheriff's office. After nearly 18 years of committed service to Randolph County Sheriff's Office and the citizens of Randolph County, Sergeant Tammy Hughes will officially retire November 1st, 2025. Her dedication, leadership, and unwavering support for both her coworkers and the community have left a lasting impact. Sergeant Hughes began began her career in law enforcement in January of 2008 as a detention officer with the Randolph County Sheriff's Office. That same year, she earned her detention center certification, demonstrating early on her determination to grow within that field. Her ambition and dedication led to her to enroll in basic law enforcement training at Randolph County Community College in August 2012, and she proudly completed the program in May of 2013, earning her BLET certification. On January 1, 2013, Sergeant Hughes was promoted to deputy, serving as a front desk officer, and placed her at the forefront of daily community interactions. Her career progression continued as she was promoted to corporal in the records division in November 2016, and later to sergeant over records in 2021, where she has led that with precision and strong commitment to service. Beyond her work in law enforcement, Sergeant Hughes has been dedicated to public service, having served as a volunteer firefighter for over 20 years. Her commitment to helping others has been a guiding principle throughout her career. She has always believed that success comes from a willingness to help, a passion for learning, and a heart for service. As she looks ahead to her retirement, Sergeant Hughes is excited to enjoy more time with her grandchildren, with plans that include lots of babysitting. Sergeant Hughes will be deeply missed by law enforcement family. Her contributions and dedicated service have made a lasting difference, and her legacy will continue to inspire those who follow in her footsteps. The Randolph County Sheriff's Office extends its heartfelt gratitude to Sergeant Tammy Hughes for her dedicated service and wishes her a joyful and well-earned retirement. Come on up, Tammy.
Thank you so much for your service. You have distinguished yourself through various levels of this process, and we owe you a great debt of gratitude for all the citizens of this county, keeping us safe and in some trying times and difficult situations I know that you've seen. And as if you didn't have enough, then you go as a volunteer firefighter. And we thank you for that service as well. So this is in grateful appreciation to Sergeant Tammy Hughes, recognition of 18 years of service, November the 3rd, 2025, by the Randolph County Board of Commissioners. May God bless you. Yes, please.
We'll wait for the state. Congratulations.
All right, it is time for our public comment period tonight that we have prior to all of our meetings. We have 23 individuals that have signed up to speak tonight. First thing I want to mention is that we do not have an item on this agenda tonight to discuss any issue involving the library. There is an announced public hearing on that issue alone for December the 8th. There's state laws that guide this process relative to public announcements for that hearing. So tonight, you'll have plenty of opportunity to hear when this board does take that up for a decision. We're going to have, as Ben reads these rules every month, we set aside 15 minutes, and we're going to observe that. And we'll take those that have signed up in the order in which they signed up, and then we'll have another public hearing at the conclusion of our business tonight if you want to speak. So, Ben?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The rules of procedure for the public comment period are as follows. The public comment period will be limited to 15 minutes at the beginning of the meeting. If more time is required, it will be at the discretion of the board. Each speaker must give his or her name both orally and in writing before speaking. Speakers will be limited to 3 minutes. Comments are to be directed to the board as a whole and not to one individual commissioner. Response, discussion, or action concerning issues raised during the public input session will be at the discretion of the board. Speakers will be courteous in their language and presentation. Speakers should not discuss matters which concern the candidacy of any person seeking public office or matters in current or anticipated litigation.
All right.
Carl Hicks.
Good evening. My name is Carl Hicks, and I'm from Randolph. I'm a teacher and a community member who values intellectual freedom and the role of libraries in fostering curiosity and thoughtful engagement. I'm concerned that removing Call Me Max sets a troubling precedent. Today it's one book. Tomorrow it could be many. Each removal narrows the diversity of voices our library should reflect. Though I disagree with the book's content, I believe in engaging with ideas rather than hiding from them. Truth and discernment grow through dialogue and not silence. My conscience requires consistency. I can't support removing a book simply because I'm uncomfortable with it. This issue has sparked strong emotions, and I've been reflecting not just on the book, but on how we speak to one another in moments like this. I have seen public servants criticized harshly online. When we label trustees as authoritarian or elitist, we risk turning disagreement into demonization. Civic virtue means engaging with honesty and respect, even in conflict. Libraries are more than just shelves. They're mirrors that help children see themselves and windows that help them understand others. Thank you.
Thank you, Carl.
Jonathan Burris.
My name is Jonathan Burris, pastor of Sophia Baptist Church. When last we met, we were calling on you to bring it to your attention about the upcoming hearing over a book that specifically targets 5 to 7-year-olds to introduce them to transgenderism. Director Holt at that time noted that the book had only been checked out 5 times. Resultantly, the library board voted to support Director Holt's recommendation. Congratulations, grooming has been approved in this county, even if it is in small increments. And while Holt stated that this was the only one in the children's collection, there are truly dozens of books on this subject in our library system, including other children's books. Frankly, it's what we expected to happen. There's no surprises there, but in the sovereign providence of our Lord, this was a good thing. It exposed a major problem in our county government. Sensitive matters such as this are handled by an unelected group of bureaucrats who seemingly answer to no one. In the most conservative county in our state, we are every bit as impacted by a bloat of unelected bureaucrats as any liberal state would be. Local government is to be the most purely representative form of government across our entire constitutional republic. But this hearing revealed a painful truth. This unelected Politburo, and I will speak plainly in that regard, made up of a majority of members who are in the political minority on this issue, dictated their ruling from their privileged position to the peasantry, we, that is, the people. This travesty revealed that even in Randolph County, the great experiment that was to be our constitutional republic, where the citizens are in fact the sovereign, has been handed over to a ruling elite who simply smirk at the working class with seemingly, again, no recourse. How are the citizens sovereign in this situation? I suppose that's rhetorical because truly they're not. If there is no accountability for unelected bureaucrats who can blatantly thwart the will of the people without consequence. I'm reminded of Lincoln's Gettysburg Address when he ended that with that government of the people, by the people, for the people shall not perish from the earth. And pardon the unfortunate pun, but if that government still exists in Randolph County, it exists as bad theater only because the tail is wagging the dog. If there be a representative republic, then rise up as civil magistrates under God and on behalf of the citizenry and lead on this issue. The fate of young children hinges on whether you lead or lay down. And if you choose to lay down, then we will rise up and we will see to it that someone else is sitting in your chair that will lead on this issue. Mr. Chairman, thank you. I'm so glad that you're here tonight. Thank you.
Rebecca Todd.
Hi, I'd just like to voice my opinion in favor of the Library Board of Trustees and the decision that they made. We're not all straight. We're not all Christian. Even in this tiny little county, we are made up of a diverse amount of people. There are people whose children are born and they feel different and they need help and they need a chance to reach out. And they need information. And our library is there to help people find their way, to help people educate themselves. That is what our library is there for. Our Board of Trustees listen to every single person. They listen to every angry person, every gentle voice. They were there listening, and I'm in support of them and support of their decisions. They were thoughtful, they were organized, and they considered the people of Randolph County. And just to consider them like this liberal group, they weren't. They just listened to people, and they made decisions for the people and all the people in the county by thoughtfully listening to the people who were speaking. So I just wanted to put that opinion out there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Susan Scott.
Hi, my name is Susie Scott, and I'm speaking out tonight in support of the Randolph County Public Library Board of Trustees. This board made the courageous decision to keep our library welcoming and relevant to all of their patrons. They did not bow to political pressure, and we should be applauding their integrity. That's why I was dismayed to hear that plans are being made to remove them from their positions. I was shown an email from a preacher in Forsyth County, and I have a question for our county commissioners. I've been paying taxes in Randolph County since moving back here in 1997. My father has been doing the same since the early 60s. I tried to find a copy of the agenda in question when I saw that email, but it wasn't there. Can someone on the council explain why a pastor for a Winston-Salem church who lives in Davidson County is so sure an item will be on the upcoming Randolph County Commissioners meeting agenda that he is calling for bus and van loads of outside agitators to come to our county to support the removal of our library board? How is that possible when the people who pay taxes here can't even see the agenda online?
Virginia Wall.
I'm Virginia Wall. I go by Jen. I've had enough of people that bring their religious fervor to our county. I'm afraid that I'm a spiritual person, but I find it offensive and very disrespectful that people who call themselves Christians presume they have the moral superiority over me. It's my choice. I very much support the decision of the Randolph County Board of Trustees. I just lost a very close friend that was on that board, and I know her to the core, and I know that board is doing their very best. She was my chosen family, and I want to honor her respect by getting up here. I don't normally like to get up in front of you fellas to talk, but it's important for me to honor her position. So the choice is ours here in this county. I don't presume to know what's best for anyone else and anyone else's family. I want a choice, and I don't want it mandated that I can't read a book. I doubt if I would read this book. I'm not a child, and I don't think that I would probably check it out. But I made myself read it, and I found it quite delightful. I found some other ones that I found really necessary for our society these days. A mandate, you guys are in a position that you could mandate what I call bigotry or racism or the otherness of somebody else. And I really hope that you think long and hard. I call it stay in your lane, not disrespectfully, but commissioners, stay in your lane. Church and state is by design separate. And we shouldn't have to all think the same, and we don't. We all have flawed human characteristics, every single one of you and every single one of these people out there. So think long and hard about opening that can of worms, because it will be a can of worms. So in my experience, diversity and differing points of view bring a better product. It does beg the question of what kind of reputation does this county have for racism, for bigotry, and
That's your time.
Mrs. Wall, that's your time.
thank you.
Thank you. All right, that's our 15 minutes, and we will continue with the sign-up list when we conduct the remainder of our business tonight. As we are to approve our agenda, I want to comment also, agenda item H, which is a carry forward also from last month relative to the Unified Development Ordinance. That's going to be carried forward. That will not be for our discussion tonight either. That will probably carry forward to January. There's still some work being done on those changes. So
We'll make it the first item. I'll talk about it for a second, and then we'll need to make a motion to table it.
all right, then go ahead.
Well, we need to adopt the agenda with that being first.
All right. All right. Do I have a motion to adopt the agenda, consent and the new business agenda?
So, Mr. Chairman, we want to adopt the agenda with moving item H in front of item A.
Moving H to number 1.
Okay.
Zeb's
All
going
right.
to make some comments.
And with that change, make a motion we adopt the agenda.
Have a second.
Second.
Those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. And so item H is now in play. I'm sorry, consent agenda. The consent agenda is first. We have a couple of proclamations tonight that I want to just read. I think Commissioner Allen is going to make a comment on the Adoption Awareness Month. And then there's a couple others we just want to draw to your attention a special tonight, so you might read it in its entirety a little bit later. So, David, you want to?
I'm not going to read the entire proclamation, but I do want to point out that this is essentially Adoption Awareness Month. I'm an adoptive father. I have a daughter who was adopted 30 years ago in November, so I didn't know that until I came on the board that was actually Adoption Month. So we adopted her several years ago, and we did not go through social services, we went through an agency. And I've kidded her over the years that all the bad traits she has are genetic and all the good traits were environmental. But in all seriousness, those folks that are looking to adopt or in the foster care program, I applaud you for what you do because it is not easy. In Randolph County, according to the proclamation, there are 140 children in substitute care who live apart from their both families, and adoption is a permanent plan for 51 of those. So there's the need out there for those folks. If you are willing and able, and I'm sure that the Department of Social Services would love to hear from you, these kids need our help. And so that's an opportunity. It's a commitment, and I commend those that choose to adopt. So, Mr. Chairman, I appreciate the comments.
Thank you. And our therefore, in that proclamation, the Randolph County Board of Commissioners does hereby proclaim November 2025 as Adoption Awareness Month. We also have a proclamation here, some of you might follow this, honoring Jerome Davis and the Carolina Cowboys professional bull riding team. Whereas the Carolina Cowboys were founded as one of 8 original teams in the Professional Bull Riders Association, that's the PBR, whereas Jerome Davis, one of Randolph County's hometown legends, became the team coach in 2022. And if any of you have lived here very long, you know that Jerome Davis himself was paralyzed for the rest of his life in an accident on bull riding. And his farm, and he has a rodeo up at his place there in Cedar Square. And if you ride down Old Highway 311, you will notice that road is named in the honor of Jerome Davis. Whereas the team competed in the 2025 PBR Camping World Team Series on October 24th, 25th, and 26th at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. And whereas team members include, and I hope I can do a little bit of justice to this, Alvaro Ariel, Cooper Davis, Allison D'Souza, Clay Guyton, Derek Kalbaba, Jess Lockwood, Kyler Oliver, Alfonso Jr. Quintino, Adriano Salgado, Gabriel Enrico da Silva, Dalen Swearinger, and Ethan Winkler. Whereas each bull rider contributed their own special talents to the team, and whereas Clay Guyton won the 2025 Team Championship Most Valuable Participant, and whereas the Carolina Cowboys won the championship series. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the Randolph County Board of Commissioners officially acknowledges the talent, skill, teamwork, sponsorship, sportsmanship, and successes of the Carolina Cowboys throughout 2025, and on behalf of our citizens does hereby extend this expression of our pride in these prestigious milestones. The other comment that's in the consent agenda that I want to mention, because you will see some of this, especially those that are here in Ashburn around this area. It will be in other parts of the county. This is the 5th year of Operation Greenlight, and this is a recognition of the veterans. It is a green light, an effort to light our county buildings, and this is happening all over North Carolina in all 100 counties, from November the 4th, which will start tomorrow, till November the 11th, which is Veterans Day. And the courthouse will be lit in green lighting. And the goal is to show our support and appreciation for veterans while also reminding them of the services that are available to them. We also encourage our residents and businesses to participate by simply changing one of their exterior light bulbs to green. This is a great way to bring awareness to those who are unaware, to spark conversation and bring to light the needs of our veterans. And we want to thank Elizabeth Wood, who is our Director of Veteran Services here in the county, for her efforts of getting this organized for us again this year. All right. So with that, do I have a motion?
Wait,
Any other comments on the
Can I make
consent
just
agenda?
one, yeah, I'd like to make just one quick comment, just simply because people ask about it fairly often, more than you might think. We have an amendment to add streets in the White Oak subdivision to the state system. That means DOT will be taking those over. And fairly often, there'll be somebody from a subdivision or somewhere that'll say, what can we do to get DOT to take our street? Well, first, those streets need to be brought to DOT standards, and then usually DOT is great to work with, and they're willing to take those streets and maintain them. So that is what's happening here, but first they have to be brought to those standards. Usually there's a cost involved. The developer may pay that if the developer's still there, but if years have gone by, then that means it falls on the people who live there. So I just wanted to make that statement to get some information out. I'm sorry, it's the teacher in me, but that's happening in the White Oak subdivision, which is Pleasant Garden, Randleman.
Racine Road.
Yeah, Racine Road, thank you. I'll just say Racine Road. And I'll also say that that's been signed by our fairly new district DOT engineer, Justin Richardson. So,
Any other comments on the consent item? Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
so moved.
I have a motion and a second.
Yeah, second.
Those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And they are approved. Now, agenda item H will be number 1.
Mr. Chairman, just a quick recap of how we got here. Our sign ordinance is part of our Unified Development Ordinance. A lot of the language in that ordinance was adopted in 1987. Several things have evolved with state law and Supreme Court rulings that dictate changes will need to be made to bring it into compliance. But additionally, general improvements were deemed warranted enough by the planning board and the staff in the planning department. So over the last several months, they've worked to provide an update. They went through and created a draft, sent it to planning board. Planning board had some comments, draft was updated, and ultimately the planning board approved the changes and sent them to the commissioners for your review and ultimate approval. We've had a number of commentary and questions come up that we wanted to make sure we addressed appropriately, and last month chose to table the item after having a public hearing. And this month, once again, we've got a lot of work still to do before we're ready to go to prime time with adopting an updated signed ordinance for the UDO. It's the recommendation of staff that we table this item again, and December's plate's already looking pretty full. We would recommend pushing it to the January 5th, 2026 meeting in order to table that and move it forward appropriately. I believe you all need to make the motion and take an action on that item to actually table it to that date specifically.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion, we table that till January 5th, 2026 meeting.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion second. Those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those no. And it is approved.
Thank you.
All right. At the item A, actually consider authorization for transfer of funds for the Randolph County Board of Education. Dr. Gainey. Too much going on.
Good evening, Mr. Fry, Commissioners, and Mr. Holden. Appreciate you letting me come tonight to be on the agenda. I'm coming tonight not to ask for additional funding. I'm coming tonight to ask to simply move funding around. I'm requesting to move $750,000 from our local current expense fund to our capital outlay fund, and this is to be used on a cleanup project we have at Trinity High School. On October 20, the Randolph County Board of Education approved this, and I'm bringing this request per General Statute 115C 433, Section D. And asking this for a one-time capital outlay project, again, $750,000 to move from our current expense fund to our capital outlay fund.
Questions? All right. Do I have a motion? Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion, since it's in your district, I'll go ahead.
Oh,
But that's okay.
I'll make a motion that we approve the request to transfer the funds.
Second.
Discussion. Those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no, and it's approved.
I don't want
Thank
to
you.
step on your toes there, sorry.
Okay, item B, a United Way report. Samantha Baker.
Hello, I'm Sam. It says Samantha, but I'm Sam. And I'm with United Way of Randolph County, and I'm bringing to you tonight the Alice report. You should have in front of you Alice in Randolph County, a snapshot. It's 2 pages. And we're going to kind of review that data today. I believe there is a presentation ready. Is that right, Ms. Dina? We got your presentation up? My presentation up? Nope? Oh, it's in the packet, so it won't be up. Okay. I'm new here. Okay, so we're going to review that together today. So good evening, commissioners, attendees, and all of you online. Hi. Tonight, I want to talk to you about what ALICE means, what it is here in Randolph County, and how we're working through some hardships and struggles from the nonprofit perspective. So who are we at United Way? As you know, United Way of Randolph County works to make sure families can thrive here at home. I'm a Randolph County girl, born and raised, living in Sophia. And our goal is to support a healthy community with initiatives through financial stability and youth opportunity and emergency preparedness. Our mission is about partnership, coordination, and lifting up our community residents who are the backbone of Randolph County. We do that through supporting other nonprofits. You will have in front of you a list of many of the nonprofits that we fund through our community impact grants, but also we remain in partnership with them throughout the year. One of them is here with us tonight, Regional Consolidated Services. I know you guys are pretty aware of what they do. Each of those partnerships bolster one of those 4 areas of focus and improvement. Everything we do ties to building strong individuals, stronger families, and strong local economy. When people are healthy, financially stable, and prepared for emergencies, our county remains strong and competitive. Moving to slide 4, you'll see that we have approximately 300 nonprofits that focus on health and human services here in Randolph County. Many of those operate either 100% or through a mostly volunteer services. They are not paid individuals, which I think speaks to the heartbeat of Randolph County. But many of those organizations are finding themselves without the funding to do the work that's necessary. And that's the reality of our landscape here in Randolph County. These organizations fill critical, I can't say fill right, fill, F-I-L-L, critical service gaps for working families, our senior adults, and young people, and they're stretched thinner than ever. So let's talk about who they're serving. So what is ALICE? ALICE stands for Assets Are Limited, Income is Constrained, but We're Employed. These are working families and individuals, not unemployed, not disengaged, but people who earn too much to qualify for traditional assistance, yet too little to afford basic needs. These are taxpayers, caregivers, church volunteers, and essential workers. I want you to keep that in mind, who keep Randolph County running. This demographic is one that I was born into. I am the proud daughter of an Alice family. I'm the proud sister to 2 Alice families here in Randolph County. And I was an Alice family myself for many years. I like to think of myself as a success story. It is very difficult to move out of the Alice demographic, and I am very proud of the work that I was able to accomplish to do that. But it is not easy, and I did lean on nonprofits to accomplish that goal. And we'll talk more about that as we go. My first interaction with United Way ever was as a person seeking out resources to support my family. I was able to send our child to pre-K, a United Way funded program. I was able to help my ailing mother-in-law with our cats through the senior adults program and Meals on Wheels, which I think is responsible for giving her 11 additional years of life. So you will see that we have broken down for you a household survival budget. That should be slide 6. This is what we call a survival budget because it's the real cost of living here, not a lifestyle budget, just the survival. These are the numbers that I'm going to be presenting to you are based on 2022 figures. So we can go ahead and assume with cost of living adjustment that the numbers are higher. I'll be back in May to present those new numbers. But for now, we're going to present that the household budget in front of you in the state of North Carolina, a family of 4, would need $80,000, a little over $80,000 to meet all of those basic needs. And we'll kind of see a breakdown. You'll see a graphic later that will kind of talk about how we're not able to meet that. When wages and living costs do not meet, families slide into crisis, even while working full-time jobs. On slide 7, you're going to see the percentage of households in Randolph County that represent the demographic I've just explained. Our number is 49%. That's half of Randolph County, nearly half of Randolph County, that falls in or below that Alice threshold of a little over $80,000 a year. That means that these are our neighbors and our friends. Very likely, many people represented in the Alice threshold are sitting in our audience today. So that's 1 out of every 2 families may rely on the services of a nonprofit within the next year. These are families who are responsible for many things in our community, including the election of this board and the support for nonprofits. So I think it's important that we keep their needs in the front of our brains. If you'll see slide 9, you can see that in North Carolina, 66% of workers in the top 20 most common jobs in North Carolina do not earn enough to make ends meet. Those are paramedics, child care workers, CNAs, they are teachers, they are retail workers, and they are the manufacturing line staff that are the heartbeat of Randolph County. These are people who show up even though times are tough. On slide 10, you will see when paychecks don't add up. This is where that blue column, which represents that household survival budget, will be present for you. And you can see how that cost is broken up. These numbers, again, are based on 2022 numbers for North Carolina. If you'll see the yellow column, you will see the 2 combined incomes of 2 of the top 20 jobs. So number 1 and 2 of the most common and accessible positions in Randolph County. And if you compare the yellow to the blue, you will see a $21,000 deficit in what is needed to survive and what is easily accessible to the majority of our community. This means that individuals and families have to ask themselves questions like, do we pay for rent or do I fill my prescription? Do we afford childcare so we can work or do we cut our hours and fall behind on bills? These are not choices a hardworking family should have to make. In front of you, you will see a local voice, I like to call it. I stole this from text messages between me and a friend. She had a recent surgery that was necessary, not an elected surgery, and she is a teacher in our community. These are choices she had to make, and you'll see that she comments that she's having to decide between paying for childcare, continuing to work, and other basic needs. I think this speaks that there is not a lack of work ethic, but there is a math problem for families doing what they can and everything right. So your next few pages are going to cover 211 data, and I'll condense this fairly quickly. I'm sure everyone knows what 211 is, but for the folks at home, 211 is like 911 or 411. You call 911 when when you have an emergency. You call 411 when you need information. You call 211 when you're having a personal emergency and you need some information on what to do next. 211 is completely funded by United Way of Randolph County for our area, and I maintain those records so that families who are facing something like food insecurity can call and find out where they can go to receive groceries. That has been pretty prevalent here in the past few days. So 211 is definitely a resource for our community, but it's also a data pool for us. You'll begin receiving quarterly 211 statements very soon. I'll be emailing those out. We're working to get those reports compiled for you, so you'll be able to see what individuals in Randolph County are calling and needing most. But the reports in front of you show 2024's data. And as you can see, we had thousands of needs that were called for, and most of those had to do with food and shelter. But we had even more needs that were unmet in our community as well. And we've seen a rise steadily year over year of needs that go unmet. This places an additional strain on our local safety net and the county. So the next thing is just a few things, a few programs that were cut over the last year. I know that I'm not telling you anything new. Local, state, and federal funding has decreased overall and across the board for nonprofits. These are just 3 programs in Randolph County that have lost funding. The Emergency Food and Shelter Program lost $150,000 in new money. Our Domestic Violence Support Program lost $700,000 in domestic violence support, meaning that women and families in difficult situations, some potentially fatal, are lacking resources in our community. This means, and then the commodities went from 280 pounds per month in Randolph County to simply 80, meaning that we are feeding fewer families overall. Obviously, we all know that with the government shutdown, SNAP is also impacting our local pantries as well, meaning that we are struggling to feed and house the same individuals who are calling, needing food and shelter. So with that, I would love to dive in more into the ALICE numbers. You can see on the second page, it breaks it down into our townships. You can really look at your community and see exactly the number of people who fall below these thresholds. Let's see. Overall, our residents want to stay here. They want to work here. We are facing workforce housing deficits, meaning that our unhomed individuals are rising even though they have jobs. They have nowhere to live, to work, to provide stability for their family. So when we support ALICE, we strengthen our workforce. We reduce strain on emergency systems. We keep tax-paying residents rooted here, and we protect the economic future of our county. It is cheaper to keep our families in their homes and thriving here in Randolph County than it is to bring new individuals in. And I think that this report speaks to the importance of providing food and shelter and support to those communities. We are here to partner. I want to be invited to your tables. I want to have conversations and connect you with the individuals and the community members who need us most, to the nonprofits that we work so closely with. So please lean on me. You have my information, and I'd love to continue talking. Thank you for your time and your support.
Thank you.
Chairman, if I could just offer an apology to Samantha if we neglected to have effective communication about the presentation. I do think for those that are here, it would be good if you could see this. There's something about seeing it that is very impactful. We have to realize that she's talking about people who are working, okay? I know you think, she said that, why are you saying it? I'm saying it because I was working at the polls the other day, and I heard 2 people campaigning make disparaging comments about people who need services. And I said, the people you were talking about are working. They are doing jobs that do not pay a lot, and half their income or more is tied up in housing, childcare, food, the types of things that they have to go to those jobs. And those jobs are important to us. Even though they may not pay a lot, if it's your parent in the nursing home, and Kenny, you've had one there, and I have too, that they're taken care of, that's an important job. So we just need to think about that, and while things are tough right now, and things with our governments are up in the air, we need to help people find the resources they need. There are a list has been published on our website. I don't know where Amy got that, but it's a list of community organizations and churches. And I know how generous our churches are, and I'm sure even more churches will be formulating a plan to help people in some way, so keep an eye out for that. And thank you, Samantha.
Hey, just a quick point of clarification. I appreciate the presentation, but it is, everything that we are seeing is online on the agenda if you want to go see it. So it's not hidden, it's not, nothing. It's online on the agenda if you want to go look at it.
All right. Agenda item C. William, you going to do this? Charters of Freedom proposal. Was Jeff Morris here? Jeff?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, staff. My name is Jeff Morse. In my prior life, I was a town manager of Valdez for 35 years. Thank you for your service. I currently work with an organization called Foundation Forward. We're a nonprofit educational foundation who our founder, Vance Patterson, is a tremendous patriot to this country. He went to Washington, D.C., visited the Charters of Freedom in Foundation Hall, and was so moved by them that he wanted to bring those charters, the Constitution, Declaration of Independence, and the Bill of Rights, he wanted to bring those back to the counties of North Carolina. We have an organization that has already constructed 60 settings in North Carolina counties. We have 40 counties remaining, and it's our goal by the end of 2026 to have all 100 counties having their own Charters of Freedom. I have a short 4-minute video that will tell you all about Foundation Forward, our mission, and then following that presentation, I only have one thing to ask of this county. This is a gift that we want to give to the citizens of Randolph County. William?
I want to tell you about the principles of Foundation Forward. The number one principle of Foundation Forward is education. No matter what you take from this experience, it all goes back to education. Education on American history, to preserve that history surrounding the time of the founding of our country. Education on government, so all will know how government is meant to serve and protect we the people. Number two is access. You see, not everyone can get to Washington, to the National Archives. We want to provide access to these founding documents in communities in a proper setting. And number three is community. Having your Charters of Freedom allows your community a place where they can gather to celebrate, to honor, and to reflect. People ask us, why are we doing this? And we tell them, yes, it's very expensive, but it's more important than money. We believe it gives us a direct link to our founding fathers by helping to preserve what it is they gave this country, a government to serve and protect we the people. If you want a monument or a setting to last, you put more underground than above ground. These are not tip-over monuments. Your foundation goes down 3.5 feet. It is solid, reinforced poured concrete coming up into a solid, reinforced core. Just the core and foundation of the center display weighs over 38,000 pounds. over 19 tons. There are 6 documents displayed. All are life-size, which means the Declaration of Independence is a little larger than the others. Each one is on quarter-inch etched bronze and weighs over 60 pounds. There is a Charters of Freedom medallion on the front, which is very special. The eagle represents the Declaration of Independence, proud, bold, defiant. The 7 stars above the eagle represent the 7 articles of the United States Constitution. The 10 stars under the eagle represent the first 10 amendments, your Bill of Rights. From the beginning, this has been an education project. We learned we had 2 founding fathers who were very big on education, Thomas Jefferson and Benjamin Franklin. These 2 believed that in order to have a free and independent country, you must understand how government works, that you cannot control what you do not understand. Thomas Jefferson in 1789 said, "Educate and inform the whole mass of the people. They are the only sure reliance for the preservation of our liberty." And James Madison wrote in 1822, "A people who mean to be their own governors must arm themselves with the power knowledge gives." Our hope is that our future leaders will come from communities where they have their own charters of freedom setting, that your children will no longer grow up just talking about the Constitution and Bill of Rights in Washington. They'll be talking about their United States Constitution and their Bill of Rights, the ones they grew up with, right in your own community.
I'm just glad to see a resurgence of patriotism around our country and the small communities. I mean, that's where it starts. And the 4th, 5th graders and come to see these things. I think it's a wonderful thing that Mary Jo and Vance are doing. We're going in different directions, you know, way left, way right, you know, and it's important that we get the facts correct.
My question is, are you ready to be a part of history? Because we're going to dedicate your charters of freedom. It's going to be here for the next 300 to 500 years, and your future generations are going to know you were here.
Mr. Chairman, as I mentioned, this is a gift that our foundation wants to provide to your citizens. In working with your staff, we will identify what Foundation Forward puts in. We put in the charters, we put in the foundation. If there's any ancillary issues or things that you'd like to add, such as lighting, trees, landscaping, that would be the responsibility of the county. But we're here to provide you the structure of the Charters of Freedom Foundation. And I would be glad to work with William or the county manager or anyone else and developing this project. I looked at the location that was suggested earlier this evening. It's a beautiful location. It's flat, it's perfect, and it has high visibility, high traffic view, and I think it would serve this county well as it has served the other 60 counties in North Carolina. And I'll be glad to answer any questions.
And these are permanent.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How are they related to weather?
I'm sorry?
To weather?
Oh, to give you an example, up in Marshall, North Carolina, where they had the floods, we have a Charters of Freedom there. We had minor repairs. It survived the flood. So they're very stable, they're very sturdy, they're very strong. Very little maintenance involved in maintaining these structures.
So what are our next steps?
Mr. Chairman, I think the question at hand is this a gift that we're willing to accept? I think you all need some consensus on the game plan. There will be, if we move forward, a little bit of cost assigned to the county. There's an area in front of it that will need some concrete, so there's access to it so folks can get right up to the setting. And getting power set up so that it can be run inside of those boxes, as well as any vegetation buffering that we want to put out there, would be on us. Paxton Arthurs, our engineers, run a cost estimate of about $9,000 to $10,000 to do all of those things. It's just a question of if the board wishes to move forward.
Does that include the Christmas tree?
You're getting a little anxious there to add the Christmas tree to the list.
These, the displays there, are they lit at night, or how?
That's an option, as the county manager mentioned, that's an option that you can utilize. We'll work with your electrician, they'll bring it to behind the setting, and then we'll put it in conduit so the lights in all the chambers can be lit, and it will not be exposed to the public. It's all embedded within the foundation.
Do you have a set crew that goes out and does these, or do you?
We
hire-
have our own crew, yes, sir, that constructs the actual charters of freedom. We rely sometimes, in order for us to get all 100 counties, as I mentioned, Vance Patterson has covered the cost of all of this, basically, up until the last couple of years, where we're now having an outreach. Our North Carolina General Assembly awarded us last year a $500,000 appropriation to add 10 more counties. We are requesting again this year, but our ultimate goal is to get all 100 counties covered.
And how long does I guess we have an effect on the timeline also, but if it's site ready, how long for you to have it?
The timeline is your schedule. We'll accommodate your schedule, work with your county staff. Our ultimate goal would love to have all these done before the semi-quincentennial celebration in 2026. And that was the approach we're taking with the North Carolina General Assembly as part of that whole program that the Joint Committee has. So we will work with your schedule. At the end of the project, we have a dedication ceremony where we work with your staff, bring in the community. We also, if there's local resources, we have a lot of times when we go into communities, companies like to donate brick, they donate labor, they donate concrete. A lot of times in the counties or cities we're in, if there's an excavator and an operator through the Public Works Department, help reduce our costs to digging the foundation and the footings. We work with your local team in coordinating all these activities.
Do we have funds for grounds and maintenance around the courthouse? I guess we have something.
We can find the money to do the project successfully. The board chooses to do so.
One thing I might add, sir, if I can, we also provide grants to the school systems so that students in the elementary school programs, we pay for their expenses to cover field trips. Our goal is to get these students and our kids to see these documents and become aware of our government and civics. So that's another program that we do provide to counties in the school systems.
I think it's particularly timely, as you said, given the America 250 celebrations that will be taking place as we celebrate the freedoms that are ours. So.
Thank you, Commissioner.
What are the exact settings that are provided, the documents that are on display?
We provide the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, all 7 articles, and the Bill of Rights. We have an option to provide an additional pedestal that lists all of the civil rights amendments, 14th, 17th, with I don't remember all the numbers, but we have an additional pedestal that has been requested by other counties to include that as part of the presentation. That's an option for the counties to determine. No additional cost, but we'll be glad to provide should this county want to do that as well.
I know this came up.
How many individual?
7. Including the Civil Rights Amendment. Yes, sir.
This came up, I think, a while back, but I don't know if it's you, somebody was supposed to be here, they didn't show up, or they're still in
I apologize
process.
for that. Wasn't me, though.
I
do want to thank William. He's been so helpful and so easy to work with, and keep our communication open. That's the thing that I do. I provide the communication with the staff. Nothing will be falling through the cracks. We keep communication open, and that's my prominent job for this organization.
All right. What's the pleasure of the board?
Well, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the gift of Charters of Freedom setting with site preparation funding to be paid by Randolph County. Oh, you want to ask a question?
All of them? All with the...
I think we can probably decide that later.
Okay,
Yeah. I mean, yeah. If it's free, it's for me, but we can decide that later.
Nothing's always free, though.
I'll second the motion.
All right, we have a motion and a second that we accept the gift and start the process.
Thank you, sir.
Further-
What we'll do next...
One moment. Further discussion?
I apologize.
Further discussion, comments? Those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. You're good to go. You're good.
The next thing on the course is I will get with William, we'll develop all the issues, put them on papers, develop an LOI. If the staff and the attorneys approve it, present it to the chairman to sign, and we start working.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Very good. Okay.
Just quickly, I don't want to drag this out, but can you just, since there's a lot of people here and watching, can you explain just briefly, I know we're kind of in the infantile stages here, where we're talking about this going? Just, Zeb, can you describe that?
Certainly. So, and this isn't fully decided, but the logical place to staff is there's a green space just outside of the building on the back here behind the new courthouse, which is about 30 years old now. But there's a wide open, beautiful space. It's level to the existing sidewalk, easy to probably get power right to the backside of the settings. I want to say monuments, but they're not monuments, they're settings. It's literally just out here behind the historic courthouse and behind the new courthouse.
I will say that I happened to be in Rutherford County and saw their presentation at Rutherford County. It was very well done. It wasn't, it wasn't out of the way, but yet it wasn't, a focus point. It was there if you'd like to see them. And I guess with the government shutdown, you can't see them in Washington now. So I guess we may have one of the few places you can go look at it. So.
Yep, they've got them in Davidson County. You could just drive right over there.
Oh, okay, yeah. But it does look like they're
Yeah.
from the website, they're throughout the,
It's-
mostly in the West.
It's gaining a lot of popularity. I think it's providing a cause. All right. Item D, the America 250 update. Mac Watley.
Ladies and gentlemen, Darrell and I may be the only ones in a position to remember, but 50 years ago, during the bicentennial, the Charters of Freedom came to Randolph County on a tractor-trailer truck that made the rounds. So, everything old again is new again, But, and I'd also, David, thank you for the resolution on adoption, since I'm an adopted parent too. And I'd like to thank the Randolph County Department of Social Services for supporting me as a foster parent and an adopted parent. And I'm sure they wouldn't mind if I said there's always a need for more foster parents. So as far as the sesquiquincentennial, half of 500, we're getting underway, and we told you several months ago that we would have a website ready to go by November, and that's why I'm here. Our website is live. Richard Schoenberger designed it, and there's a crew in Alamance County who developed it and put it online, and you had a chance to look at it. It is not complete yet because you see it's got places to add more stuff, and we're going to be adding more stuff regularly because that this is not just 250 years since July 4th, 1776. Our semi-quincentennial goes till 2029, and the official semi-quincentennial goes till 2033. So hopefully all of us will still be around to see it. But just a quick update. We're not going to go through the website since we'll add more and more stuff. But a couple of things I want to bring to your attention. One of our important partners is the Daughters of the American Revolution, and they are dedicating a monument at the gravesite of Colonel Andrew Balfour, which is on the grounds of the Asheboro Airport. And they keep calling it a big rock. I don't know how big it is. I haven't seen it. But there's a big rock that they were attaching a plaque to, and there's a whole deal, and I'll be speaking and other people. So that is November 15th, Saturday, November 15th at 11 a.m. at the Colonel Andrew Balfour grave there. What used to be called Hog Mountain Road, I think, is something more upscale these days. But anyway, so there's that. Then the city of Asheboro and Trevor Nuttall has developed a signage program where they're going to print and create banners that go on light poles. Asheboro itself hasn't done that for a couple of years because they have flower baskets now, but they've still got the poles, and so they're going to do banners for Asheboro, and they're going to do them for every other town and city in the county if they want them and have them. And Franklinville wants them because we've got those too. So one thing that Amy Rudisell is working on is with the county schools, what the North Carolina 250 project calls the County Flag Project. Again, you probably remember our seal and our flag, and in fact the Asheboro seal and the Asheboro flag all were developed as part of the bicentennial 50 years ago. Both of them were designed by Audrey Beck, who is with the Art Guild. And the program the state wants is for fourth graders to develop a contest where it's their version of a flag for Randolph County or a seal for Randolph County. Whatever it is, however many fourth graders, there'll be that, and there'll be judges, and Amy's going to work with the county schools about that. And maybe they'll come up with something that we like better than Audrey Beck's thing. And then what we call the big event, which is July 4th next summer, Saturday, July 4th. Cam Mills is working with the city of Asheboro again to develop something there. And we don't know all of the details yet, but it might include fireworks. It might include one of those lighted drone displays if we can figure all that out. So anyway,
We can dream.
that's right. We don't know how much they cost or where they are, but I'm sure everybody in the United States is trying to get it for Saturday, July 4th, 2026. So that's the update. If you have any questions, be happy to answer them. But anyway, thank you.
Thank you, Matt. All right, item E is reclassification request for the Register of Deeds office. Krista Lowe was to be with us tonight, but she became sick during the day today. I understand the doctor sent her home. So Zeb's going to handle this item.
Actually, I'll hand it down to our esteemed Assistant County Manager and Finance Officer, Will Massey.
Thank you very much. As you mentioned, Register of Deeds Krista Lowe has been looking at some reclassifications within her department. She's worked with HR to come up with some reclassifications for 8 positions that will do a number of things for her. It'll increase operational effectiveness. It'll provide some job enrichment and growth in those positions, and lead to some succession planning as well too. So she felt it was very important to bring this to you all tonight. The cost for this year to implement would be about $13,000. She has that available in her budget with a vacant position. Going forward, it would probably be about $18,000, $19,000. And I think she'd like to make that effective on November the 16th. That would give HR and payroll time to get everything into the system correctly.
You know, in Randolph County, I think in almost 80 years, we've had 3 registers of deeds here in our county. Annie Shaw, Ann Shaw, and now Krista Lowe. And I've spent a lot of time in High Point. I worked there for 40-some years at one place or the other. But I hear a lot from their attorneys how much they like coming to Randolph County to work in our Register of Deeds office, to work in our Clerk of Court's office, how friendly the folks are, how much help they give them, and are very complimentary. Krista almost apologized for making this request for us, but I think that it's important to continue the service there. The activity is growing by the day, and I think that her request is in order. So other comments or whatever, pleasure of the board.
Mr. Chair, I think also that this gives her folks are very competitive. I'm sitting beside an attorney, and attorneys like to take her folks because they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And so it's a competitive market. And so we need to provide, he's pulling his microphone toward him. We need to be competitive and keep our folks and provide a career path for those folks that we can keep in the Register of Deeds office, because it's going to be a continuing issue if we don't. So, Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion, if it's in order, to reclassify the Register of Deeds positions as presented previously.
Have a second?
Second. And second that motion,
Yeah.
absolutely.
All right.
And just to piggyback, I don't know if Mr. Morgan's going to say anything, but he probably has more dealings with that office.
I don't need to. You guys have done a great job.
Anybody sitting up here, I have some dealings in professionally with that office, and my office is right behind it, and I can't say enough about Krista Lowe and her staff and the level of customer service in that office. It's second to none. I think it's outstanding compared to the rest of the state. And anytime I have to go to that office, it's a pleasure to go there and do business with them.
Yeah,
And so
amen.
I think most of our citizens feel that way too, but just kudos, and I'm glad to second that motion for our folks.
And if I could just remind people that now they offer passport services. So especially if you have groups that are going to travel, like in our schools, our public schools, sometimes they have students that are going to be traveling in our charter schools, our homeschoolers, whether it's groups of seniors, but any group that is going to be traveling, they will come to you and talk about that process and what needs to be done. I know it's online, but I also know that we're not always the best at looking online and getting everything straight that needs to be done to get a passport. So they are willing to come to your organization, whatever it is, and talk about that process. So just keep that in mind.
All right, well, I think we have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? We've had quite a bit. Any more discussion? Those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. And it's approved. The position requests are so noted. Item F is holiday accrual policy revision. Steve Nunn.
Good evening. So our request proposes a revision to the holiday accrual policy for deputy sheriffs and detention officers that work 12-hour shifts. Currently, these employees, they receive 12 hours when they work on a holiday, but when they're off, they only accrue 8 hours. There's a little bit of a disparity in the Randolph County policy. Other emergency response employees already earn the 12 hours when they're off, whether they work or not. So by adopting a similar approach, our shift employees would receive an additional 24 hours of holiday accrual per year. We believe that this change not only improves employee satisfaction, but also creates consistency within the county personnel policies. Again, this would only apply to 12-hour shift employees.
I will note that the request from the Sheriff's Department notes that the other emergency workers in the county already are under this same pay plan, pay policy relative to
Right.
the vacation.
They already get 12.
Yes,
We're
so
still getting 8.
This just brings the Sheriff's Department up to date with other emergency workers here in the county. So, any other questions of Steve? All right. What's the pleasure of the board?
I'll make a motion that we approve the change to the sheriff's holiday accrual policy as presented.
We have a second?
Second.
Further discussion or questions? Those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. And it's approved.
Thank you.
Thank you for your patience. Okay, animal control ordinance changes. Jonathan Moody.
Good evening, Commissioners. Thanks for having me out. Let me fix this. Steve's too tall. Okay. All right. So I come to you today to talk about the public nuisance ordinance that we have in Randolph County. So I started doing some research sometime this year, looking into other counties nuisance ordinance violations and what is their actually public nuisance ordinance. And one that I picked from was from Guilford County. They had actually implemented a ordinance that is a public nuisance order that actually gives animal control officers more ways to handle the calls for service and to be able to actually fix the problems instead of just issuing citations. The thing about animals, they're not like people. We just can't pick them up and take them to jail for breaking the law or what they did. We still have to give them back to the owners. To where we can actually implement a order that allows us to actually pick the animals up for a certain time period to where they can actually fix the problem without the animal being there. And then after that time period, if they do not, I guess, do kind of what we've asked them to do, then at that point they have to give up the rights to the animal. So I'm just asking for the board to implement this ordinance. It is on the page 7, I believe, of the actual animal control ordinance.
What's the biggest nuisance, Jonathan?
Dogs running at large.
Dogs running loose?
Dogs what?
Dogs running at large.
Yep.
They're running through people's neighborhood. And that's the thing. They're aggressive sometimes towards kids, but it goes back to we find the dogs, we take them back home. That is our first priority, is trying to get them back home. But then within the next day, they're back out again. And all we can do is issue them a citation. If they come and pay their fines and their fees, we didn't actually fix the problem. It could be as simple as them fixing their fence, as simple as them putting electric collars on their dogs or anything like that to just keep them at bay instead of continue running at large. And we do have some dangerous dogs in this county that if they get out, I mean, they can attack a little kid getting off a school bus.
Yeah.
So
This is kind of geared, I mean, the context a little bit is geared more toward dogs, but I guess this could be defined to any particular animal.
yeah, so this actually goes to this is for every animal that we have in Randolph County. It's not just for dogs, cats. I mean, we can also implement this on livestock as well.
Okay.
Yep.
And this is only change highlighted, I guess it's item I under subsection 1, whatever, I'll put that on page 7.
Correct, yes, sir.
None of the pieces of ordinance are changing.
Yeah, none of the actual ordinance changes. We just added that
Yeah, this
extra one
public-
down
yeah,
at the bottom
that
on I.
Public nuisance, that's different, isn't it? The public nuisance order.
Yeah, so what this does is, this in the ordinance actually lets me implement a public nuisance order, which you should have as well in
Yeah,
your
we do.
packet,
Yeah.
that actually implements the order that tells them what we're asking them to do and what are the standard of what we're asking them to do and how to fix it.
So is that filed away with the sheriff or courts or anything, or just all within your?
So it's
your-
going to be within our
your
department.
jurisdiction.
Yeah, it's going to be within our department because we're going to have to be the one in control of the animal, obviously. But if we go out for someone violating the order, obviously we go out with sheriff's office, and things like
Does
that.
that apply to any municipality?
I'm sorry, sir.
Does that apply to any municipality?
Yes, anything that we do as a contract, like we do Liberty, we do Seagrove, Franklinville, things like that. This will fall under them as well. But not like Ashboro City or Random, and the ones that do their own. Archdale has their own, correct.
So Jonathan and his advisory board worked through this. Appreciate staff attorney Amy Scott and also assisting with language to make sure it fell within the guidelines of what we felt was appropriate and acceptable. And the advisory board heard the argument that we needed this, and met the next time, heard the draft, and felt it was in shape, ready to be moved forward for your consideration and approval.
Correct.
All right, any other
I have a-
questions?
Yeah, I have a question. On the nuisance, letter H, I'm sort of, I guess I need clarification. Failing to confine a female cat or dog while in season in a building or secure enclosure in such a manner that she cannot contact another dog or create a nuisance by attracting other animals. So we have dogs that stay out with our livestock. If she comes into heat and she's in our fence, but it's attracting other animals, this is saying that it's my fault that she's attracting other animals?
Correct. It's actually a general statute for
So-
allowing
so-
a dog at heat to be able to have another animal come in contact with it. It's actually a general statute, it's state law. not just an ordinance.
So we're supposed to lock our livestock, or lock our dog up in the barn?
Correct. State law, I just abide by it.
I mean, that sounds a little crazy to me, but,
Yeah.
yeah. And then the other one, the allowing or permitting an animal to bark, whine, or howl in excessive, continuous, for reasonable use. I mean, how is that defined? Again, we have Great Pyrenees that stay out with our livestock that bark at coyotes and keep them away. That's what they've been bred to do over the
Right.
years.
So there is an element of the law that does say that they are excluded from that. If they are a working animal, then
Okay.
they are excluded from that.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
same
good to
thing
know.
with donkeys, like if they're out there braying, doing their thing, doing what they're supposed to do, they're considered exempt from that.
Okay.
Yep.
I never knew that. That's good.
Other questions, comments?
No, but I would just like for Jonathan I'd just like to thank you and have you thank your staff, because some of the things I hear about you have to deal with. You just can't make this stuff up. I hope somebody is keeping a book.
Yeah.
I
Well, some of this actually comes from the experience you had. This is one reason why we really started looking into this, because that wasn't the first time we've actually dealt with that dog. And if this was implemented, that could have been avoided possibly from the very beginning. So,
All right, other questions? What's the pleasure of the board?
Well, then I'll make a motion to approve the update of an ordinance governing animal services in Randolph County.
Have a second?
Second.
Further discussion? Those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. All right.
thanks, sir.
Thank you, Jonathan. Okay, the bids for the Staley Viper Tower project.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. I'm here hopefully for the last time to talk about the Viper project that we have been dealing with for a couple years. Just to give you a 60-second recap on this project, there was Viper issue coverages. That's the radio system that law enforcement, fire and EMS, and others use in the Randleman Lake area and along the Deep River Valley through along Deep River. We built a Viper tower. This board allocated money for that. The construction is completed. We've got the power turned on to it and lights. The equipment has not been installed yet, but all of the equipment, for the most part that we need, has been purchased. To connect that tower to the Viper system, we had to make a connection between another Viper tower, and the Mount Shepherd tower was the obvious choice. That's what the state wanted us to do, because this tower will eventually be turned over to the state. To do that, back in April of this year, you approved some modifications to the Mount Shepherd tower, which means we had to add equipment to it. The tower was at its maximum capacity, so they had to do a few modifications, beef up the structure to hold that additional equipment, and that is currently in progress. The second connection that we're making is to the Staley Viper Tower, which is behind Station 22 of Franklinville Fire Department on Ramseur-Julian Road. And we had an engineering firm come out and look at that tower as well. We found that it was actually already above capacity, but to add our equipment to it would put it about 125% of its capacity. So that engineering firm come up with about 172-page technical document on what needed to be done to that tower for it to hold our equipment. And we put that out to bid. That closed end of October. And I just took a couple snippets for the slideshow here of that 172-page document, basically adding some structure to the legs, the three legs of the tower, and adding some dirt around the bottom to strengthen it. And we actually had to put it out twice. We got 2 bids the first time, got 2 more the second time we put it out. And in your memo here is the prices that we got. Built Consulting was the cheapest. They actually is who won the Mount Shepherd bid. And so far, talking to our consultant and the engineering company, they're doing great work out at Mount Shepherd. So our recommendation and consideration to the board is to hire Built Consulting out of Hillsborough to do the work on the Staley Tower so that we can add our equipment to that. So that's the prices that you have there in front of you. We think Built is able to do such a good price because they are a local company. The GenCon group was also a Greensboro-Kernersville company, but we had spoke with our consultant. They've never done any work with them, but their price was significantly higher than all the others. So that's what I'm here for tonight.
It's a big
is
spread.
To get your approval to award the bid to Built Consulting.
All right, questions?
Just as a point of clarification, you know, the first bid, we only had 2 offerings, which likely were the first 2, and when the rebid went out, 2 more were added that obviously we're just hoping to make a big payday. So we're grateful and fortunate to have a company we've already worked with, a price that we can do, and the pricing shown is dollars that have already been allocated. There's no new dollars here. It's just above the purchasing threshold and requires you all's blessing to move forward.
All right.
Jared, I guess one question I had, I didn't know where that tower was at, and I was racking my brain trying to figure it out, and I go by it every time I come to Asheboro.
Yeah.
I guess you said it's been enhanced as far as the weight. Did you include the buzzards that are roasting up on there?
They probably included that in the calculation.
Okay,
I'm
so
sure.
I just want to make sure we got enough there. If there's no other discussion, that's in my area. I'll make a motion to award the bid structurally enhance the Staley Viper Tower to Built Consulting in the amount of $281,255.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second to award the bid to Built Consulting out of Hillsborough, North Carolina for $281,225. Those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. It's approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Before we go, we just have this one item for Asheboro City Schools, which we could do. I know that Tracy Murphy and Tara Akers are here tonight. There's things moving that involve their job and citizens of this county relative to SNAP money, WIC money, things like that. So we spoke to them earlier, and I'm going to, Tracy, I'll call on you first if you want to come and bring us an update.
Good evening. My update will be brief, as this is a situation that continues to evolve. Late this evening, we received an email that our citizens who receive SNAP benefits would receive a benefit in November. That benefit is going to be delayed, and it will not be the full benefit. I haven't seen it in writing, but I am hearing 50% of the actual benefit would be received sometime in November.
50%?
50%.
Tracy, was that state money or federal money?
That's federal funding.
Okay.
In addition to that, we have approximately 22,000 of Randolph County citizens, more than 22,000, who are receiving those benefits. And Randolph County is 85th of 100 counties as far as percentage of citizens who are receiving benefit. I thought that was interesting, and that wasn't a number that I had known or heard before. We're 85 of 100 counties in percentage of citizens receiving these benefits. I appreciate Amy Rudisell, our Public Information Officer, for putting out the list of resources that we have for our citizens. That list is not complete, of course. It's all the ones that we knew and could think of and had verified the contact information and tried to get that to her just as quickly as possible. It does not include all of our faith community members who are arm in arm with us in ensuring that we are supporting those who are needy in our community. So I appreciate all of those who are on our resource list for citizens to reach out to, and our faith community members who have been very, very active in ensuring that we support, of course, our widows and orphans in Randolph County. We are very serious about ensuring that we are serving the least of these in our community.
So Tracy, if anybody would like to be added to that list because they're going to have some type of program or services, should they get in touch with your department?
Absolutely. If they'd like to be added to the list, if they could send me an email or a text or a call, I will answer either of those.
So to clarify, you said 85th out of 100.
85th out of 100.
To me, How's that? Is
So
number one the
85
highest?
No,
Number
one
has
is
the most people?
One is the lowest.
Okay, so
85, 85th.
I was hoping it was the other way. See, I had it the other way. Come on.
No,
I'm
we have the
sorry.
85th highest amount.
We are 15 from the highest percentage of citizens who are receiving these benefits.
Tracy, you and I had a little bit of a conversation earlier. This whole issue relative to qualifying or that they are qualified to receive these benefits, that's up to your department to determine that.
So that's true. Department of Social Services has to administer the policies that the legislation has agreed to. So anyone who wants to apply for benefits should continue to come to Department of Social Services. All of our citizens who are currently receiving benefits and have a recertification due should continue to turn that information in timely. We are still open for business, and we are still accepting calls and citizens and applications. We are still doing all of that work. I've heard a couple of rumors that are untrue. For citizens who already have benefits on their card, all of our vendors are currently still accepting those, so they can still shop if they have benefits available. We did receive a report earlier today that showed that the majority of residents in North Carolina that receive SNAP benefits, approximately 65% have $20 or less left on their EBT card. So with November already being here and tomorrow being the 3rd, many of them will not receive their regular allotment in November. And we've just found out today that allotment would be at least, I've heard 50%, haven't seen that in writing, but that situation continues to evolve.
And that won't be until later.
That won't be until later in November, yes. Citizens receive benefits usually beginning on the 3rd of November, depending on what their Social Security number is, but they begin on the 3rd, and some of them receive it all the way up to the 21st. So if the federal government remains shut down, they should receive some benefit before the end of the month, even if it's only a partial benefit.
I was on a NACO call this past week, and they indicated once at November 1st that it would be a 10-day kind of start back up to create the machinery to start rolling again to get those out. So that's the probably you're looking at least 10 days before late with everybody is what NACO was kind of indicating they were hearing.
That is absolutely accurate. I believe there was a federal judge who had ordered that benefits go out, and even with that order, it's going to be days, of course, for the government to do all the things that they need to do for citizens to actually receive benefits. So I would say, Commissioner Allen, that 10-ish day is probably as close of an estimate as we can have right now. This is the first time in the history of Food and Nutrition Services benefits that the benefit has, that they have not received it in all the time that it's been here. So it's something that our citizens didn't know or weren't able to prepare for earlier. Most of the citizens in Randolph County that are receiving food and nutrition services are single moms, kids. 80% of them are already working. So I add my comments to those of our United Way director, and that many of these citizens, residents are already working and trying to do the best that they can with what they have to work with.
Of the 22,000 plus individuals receiving benefits, do you know approximately how many of those are children? I could have prepped.
So I'm looking at you. You know I'm a numbers person, and I love my numbers, but I do not have that number. I don't have that number,
No
but
worries.
I can get it to you.
No worries.
And I'm mad at you for asking me that.
I thought that I had heard that. I thought that I'd heard that number. I apologize for putting you on the spot.
Now, when you say children, does it go directly to the child or to a caregiver or a parent?
Caregiver or parent, head of household. Yes.
All right, but it's for that child's benefit.
Absolutely.
Other comments or questions? Thank you, Tracy.
Thank you.
Tara?
Good evening, you all. I'm happy to report that WIC is in a little better shape than SNAP. But as you all know, since October 1st, we've been closely monitoring the federal shutdown. And so far, the WIC program is funded. We did receive an email today from the division director with the Division of Children and Family Wellbeing that WIC is funded through the end of November. So that's what we know at this point. We are open, business as usual, still serving participants. Participants can still spend their benefits. We encourage them to spend them at their normal spend rate, because if they spend more, that means the money will last it won't last quite as long. So right now, we seem to be okay.
So you get a fixed allotment, a fixed.
We do. All WIC programs are assigned a certain caseload, and we have to meet 97% of that caseload. So as long as we're meeting that caseload, we are getting that consistent funding.
Very good.
Yes.
Questions of Tara? Comments? Thank you, Tara.
Absolutely.
Very much. Okay, we're being asked to meet with the Asheboro City Schools, as we do annually. Set that date for February the 12th at 5:30 p.m. Anybody, I don't know how far out your calendars are, but everybody all right with that date? Like I said, I don't know. What day of the week is that usually? Monday? Thursday. Monday? Thursday?
And we generally try to align that up with one of their board meetings, so their folks are already there, correct?
Yeah. All right, I have a motion to approve February the 12th meeting with Asheboro City Schools. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
All right. I think Lester beat you.
That's all right. Don't matter.
All of those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. All right. County Manager, you've got anything else?
I will be brief, but I will say that don't let anybody tell you we don't have competitive commissioners. We're racing for seconds up here. And I'm not talking dinner. Two things. One, ultimately, I think it'd be wise for us also to consider scheduling a meeting with RCC like we did last year. I felt that was productive to try to get our boards together. I know the last thing we want to do is another meeting, but if you'll let me, I'll explore dates for that, as it's a little less rigid. It doesn't have to match up with one of their board meeting days. Other thing I'll just mention is tomorrow's election day. Municipal elections are extremely important in our community as everywhere else, but they don't happen without an elections department, without an IT department, without a buildings and grounds department, all the folks that are making it happen. Turnout's not been very good thus far, so go home and recruit your neighbors and make sure you research your folks and go out and vote and say thank you to the folks that are making it happen.
All right. Any other commissioner have a comment tonight? Okay, we are going to resume our public comments with the next one up.
Judy Saunders. I think I saw him.
I think she left.
Her husband, Tim, was signed up next. Jane Ledwell Gant. I don't see Jane either. Charlie White.
He left.
Okay. Isaac Hoffman.
He left.
He left.
Mr. and Ms. Wang. I don't see them either. Ed Leets. He's usually with the so. Karen Katula. Violet Crespo. Dr. Charles Edgerton. Mark Eagle. Jennifer Eagle. Amanda Rivenbark.
Good evening, Commissioners. I just want to come today to let you know I'm a homeschool mother here in Randolph County. I'm also a taxpayer. With that being said, we frequent the Randolph County libraries in our homeschool with their events. They have a lot of homeschool events. We appreciate them. We appreciate the work that they do in our county. However, I want to come here today to let you know that I completely support your decision to look at the Randolph County Libraries Board with their recent decision to keep content that sexualizes children on the shelves of the children's section is disgraceful. I know that you, as our commissioners, appoint this board, and I do not feel that this board is representing the citizens of Randolph County well. If you may be at the polls tomorrow on Election Day, I'd encourage you all to talk to the citizens of Randolph County, to speak with your constituents and ask them their opinion on this matter. If they agree with sexual content being on the shelves of our children's section, this meeting began with a beautiful prayer, asking to seek first the kingdom of God. I ask that you do that. You have "In God We Trust" above you, above your heads, above our American flag, our state flag, and our county flag. So I ask that you do seek first the kingdom of God. Prayerfully consider your decision as you consider what you're going to do with the libraries board. And please talk to your constituents. There is a small group that has been very vocal about keeping sexualized content on the shelves of our libraries. It's inappropriate. We should not be sexualizing our children, period. It's elementary. It's very simple. That content is not acceptable. So I just want to vocalize my support in your decision to review the board. Thank you.
Clyde Faust, I don't see him. Jennifer Rock.
I also wanted to come out in support of the board reviewing the current library board. I was at the library board meeting that she was just talking about, and I truly feel like it was not a good representation of what I have experienced in Randolph County. I mean, I was born and raised here, lived here my whole life. I had several people reach out to me after that meeting, upset because they had no idea it was even taking place. People were not able to come out to that meeting because it was 4 o'clock on a work day. The support was not able to be represented because people couldn't be here. One thing I noticed at that meeting was the idea of people saying a book was wanting to be banned. That was mentioned over and over and over. A book was not, it was never brought about to ban a book. That keeps being brought up. That was never what was wanting to happen. I mention this because that was something that was never asked. It was asked if the book could be relocated in the library, but it did not seem like this is something that was even considered by the board. It seemed very evident when I left that day that that was not going to be a possibility. I was able to be there that day because the Lord has allowed me to homeschool my children. I actually taught in the Randolph County school system for 13 years and left to homeschool my children and have been for the last 7 years. I'm only saying this because I enjoyed the school system and I planned on retiring from there until I saw the shift in our federal government. I knew that there would be a day I might be asked to teach something that I morally do not agree with. Now, my husband and I want to protect our children from seeing the same thing when they go into a public library. We had to explain what a lot of the language that is new to all of us. We had to explain this to our 9 and 11-year-old when we never intended on doing it this early. I know they aren't in public school, but we explain this to our children because they have come into contact more than once with books in the libraries in Randolph County. Because I homeschool now, we do go to several libraries. They have wonderful programs. We love going, but all we were asking were these books to be relocated. So this is not something that more than once has happened to us. They've just pulled it off the shelf. They're older. My children are a little bit older now, but when they're 5, they can grab a book, and I don't want to have to explain that to a 5-year-old. And because of my background in teaching, I've been there, and I understand where this leads children as they get older. It's not the most healthy thing. It's not something I would want my children checking out on accident and me not discovering it until we get home. I felt like that was all that was being asked. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Chris Gallahue.
Hi there. I don't want to be rude. I'm not trying to call you up. My last name is Gallahue. It's a weird last name. I'll probably be here again. It's Gallahue. I just
How do you
wanted
spell
to
that?
Gollihue. It looks a lot scarier than it is, I promise. But I just figured I'd say that since I'll probably be up here again. So my name is Dr. Chris Gallahue. I wanted to come to you all today as a relatively new resident of Randolph County. My partner and I just bought a farm out in Seagrove, and I am a proud volunteer of our Seagrove branch. I'm doing some STEAM activities there, so if you want to come, bring your children, your grandkids. We're going to be doing some cool stuff there. But I wanted to come here today. I'm not going to talk about politics. I'm actually going to talk about the functional fallout that I think comes along with removing a library board of trustees. I have a background in strategic planning, used to work for universities, did a lot of kind of organizational planning, things of that nature. And what I think is really special about our library system right now is that we're undergoing this really interesting process of strategic planning. You all have a library board that is open to public comment, that is coming to each of the library branches and getting real input from community members, building those relationships, building that trust. I think it's important that we realize how special that is. I have never lived in a place where I can go to my library and talk to the people about my dreams, my wishes, all of those things. So, I know some of you are business owners, and I want you to think about a possibility. All of you probably have done strategic planning for a business or for some kind of organization before. You sit down, you set your goals, you think about your next year, your big rocks for the next year. You think, this is the revenue streams I'm going to bring in, this is the work that I'm going to do to meet my goals. If you're a good business, you're getting feedback from your customers. If you're a really good business, you're doing that. Now, I want you to imagine someone comes in and completely takes away every person that is doing that work. Because that's kind of what's on the table right here. We're undergoing this really interesting process of strategic planning, and if we do away with certain board members, if we do away with the board, we do run the risk of upsetting and disrupting that process that really requires a lot of stability. And that's just, I'm coming at this, I am a new citizen of Randolph County. I don't know the ins and outs of what's going on behind that strategic planning process, but I am talking to you also as a citizen who has been to those meetings and seen those meetings take place. You do run the risk of breaking the trust and the relationships that board has created with us, and you also run the risk of setting back some of that work that is going to be done as a result of that strategic planning process. So as I said, I didn't want to talk about politics today. I do fall on one side or the other, but I think that there is a functional outcome that is possible if we just kind of do away with the people who are in the process of that really important work. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. All right. Is there any other business to come before this board tonight?
Right.
Thank all of you again for your patience. I'm sorry we've had to do this, but it doesn't happen often. This might be a first, but thank you for your patience, participation tonight, and there will be more of this in the future. So, thank you. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Chairman, do we need to vote on a date?
No?
Okay.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Have a second? We are adjourned.